Hey, everybody, more World of Warships, let's go. I'm DylanTheVillyn, and this is another World of Warships video, this time in the American Tier 6 battleship, the New Mexico. And you'll see by the weird mass appearing on the hull that it's the stock hull. The ship isn't entirely stock. I do have the propulsion upgrade and the firing control upgrade. But the hull is indeed stock. But this is the last game that it is stock, and you see there's my faithful division mate, as usual, Vinegar, in also the New Mexico, although his is a lot more stock than mine, and he doesn't have the fancy colors all over him. On this time, we have a hotspot map, and this is a very good game that I wanted to show because if you'll be able to see, I am pretty up-tiered. There's tier 8 ships in here, not least of which are... Oh, there's a North Carolina on the enemy team. We also have a North Carolina, but the North Carolina on the enemy team will be a big deal. There's also Atagos, or there's an Atago, and Benson and Fubuki on the enemy team that are tier 8. And there are 2 divisions on the enemy team. There's 3 divisions on our team, so that's nice. But anyway, it's like a very cohesive game so far. And since we're so slow, it's going to take a while to actually get into the action, although I have been detected by the aircraft buzzing overhead. Just thought I'd take a minute to describe what I think of the New Mexico. Coming from the New York, or maybe I should preface this, I've actually gone down the Japanese battleship tree more. I've had the Fuso for quite a long time. I haven't gotten around to getting the Nagato yet, but, you know, I like hanging around tier 6. But going through to the New Mexico has proven to be very enjoyable. The Atago varying his speed considerably. That shot's never going to hit. You see Toboku saying some puns in the middle of a game, and you see there's a famous person in the game, Sidestrafe, in his Indianapolis, and that's actually nice. I believe he was streaming at the time of this. My division mate actually looked it up to see after I pointed out that Sidestrafe was in the game, because I didn't know if that was actually him. But I did look, or my division mate looked, and it was indeed him. He was streaming at the time. I'm trying to gauge this Atago, or Atago. I'm going to say Atago, fuck it. His speed isn't quite up enough, so I'm not able to get any good fire on him. The one hit was a ricochet. Not very much I could do there. Well, there's more I could do there. I could have waited until he got up to maximum speed, then I could have fired. But you see, I'm also varying my speed. I don't want to launch out ahead of the rest of my ships. I want to stay with the cohesive unit. But seeing that the New Orleans is going, I start jacking up my speed a bit so I can keep up with him. I don't want to leave him unsupported. Our North Carolina is just behind me, just slightly. Although he can afford to be, he has much better range. And the New Mexico seems to be firing at that North Carolina. My division mates shooting down some aircraft and only taking 1 torpedo. Unfortunately, they did take a torpedo, but at least it didn't take them all. And at the very least, the aircraft that the enemy Ranger sent out had taken a beating. And we see our 2 primary targets. We have a New Mexico that just disappeared behind the island, and we have another New Mexico, Vic Savage, that he's showing quite a lot of his broadside. I'm angling just enough to get all my guns on him. And I take a good quick shot, paying close attention to that torpedo, making sure I don't actually run into it and make a fool of myself. And decent shot, considering it was 16 kilometers away. The default New Mexico does not have that range. It's actually in an upgrade slot that I've got the artillery plotting room. I believe that's what it's called, and it increases the range to 17.4 kilometers, which, it's a little thing, but I like it rather than the turret traverse. It helps in just getting lucky shots like this. I'm able to engage it, although I'd be able to engage it now, but I'd take a little bit more time to aim this shot and pick it a little bit better, and I feel like I do better. 4,300 damage, about the same, but I felt more confident with the shot. Looking at the sims, if it decides to get closer, I'm probably going to end up taking shots at it. Luckily, our New Orleans has decided to pull up ahead, though he is slowing down to avoid those torpedoes. And you see that I'm not going full blast. I do want to stay with my ships and not put myself out in the open to get exposed by all of these battleships. I'm in a good angle here, and watching New Mexico, I take my shot again, looking to do some serious damage to him. Since he's going to keep showing his broadside, I'm going to keep trying to punish that. And I do a little over 2,000 damage there again. 10 hits, 11,000 damage, average at best, below average. Not very good so far, but it's the way that this flank plays that made this game specifically good. As you see, the Otago is playing with fire, stopping in the middle of nowhere, pretty much, and broadside to me. That's an extremely dangerous game to play, and I'll be damned if I let him insult my skills in such a way. So I punish him pretty big there by gaining 2 citadels. He does note that in the chat. And I see a wall of skill coming towards me, so I have to I immediately turn, even if they do fade away before I get there. Yeah, hoary shit indeed. As I'm turning to make sure I stay out of clear of these torpedoes, I do see side strafe up here again. You see me jokingly. Torpedo warnings coming up. I'm seeing if I can get some better shots on him, though. This time he does start maneuvering out of the way, so they're not going to get much out of that. You see the enemy New Mexico that's over there, Murphin Daddy. He's going to come into play later, I assure you. And I see side strafe again. And I don't really have any good broadside targets right now. Looking at New Mexico, but not much. He's starting to go behind an island. And I see my natural predator, or my natural prey, a cruiser. And he's broadside on, and he's maintaining speed, not changing angle. I take a shot. Hoping to repeat what I did to the Otago, or maybe even better, or at least just try and scare him off. You know, I don't want him to throw a lot of HE in my way. So I shoot at him, and got 3 hits and a citadel. A lot of damage, took out half his health. It was a decent shot. I got pretty lucky at that range, but you see the New Mexico is dumping fire my way as well. But since I am indeed changing my speed so much, it makes it difficult to get a pin on where the ship is going to be. I've really started to appreciate the art of shifting speed from... My default is usually full when I'm getting into battle, and then in battle it's 3/4, so I can shift speed from full to half. It's actually just saved my ass a lot. And if nothing else, you become a difficult target, so people start firing at different targets to begin with. Which, it's like a deterrence. Because if you're hard to hit, people will fire at something else instead. I say Murph Daddy. Trying to see if I can get some fire on him? No. Just before he went around the hill, he does fire again. But, I mean, he did some damage, but giving out an entire salvo of it, not very much. And you see, the citadels have jacked my damage up considerably. 3 citadels to cruisers. Pretty nice. But looking at our flank, the other flank to the east has not held up nearly as well. Although, admittedly, a lot of the enemies started to the west, where we were. And we've actually pushed them back hard. We're in the middle of pushing them back to their spawn. The New Mexico that I'm shooting at is really angled, so I'm not too sure about taking shots at them, because I know angled New Mexicos are really tough, and I have a problem shooting at angled targets that are angled away. I have trouble shooting them. I did get at least 1 hit, but that's pretty pathetic. I should be better than that. And you see, a destroyer is actually going after our allied carrier. That really sucks. I'm not fast enough to actually get back there. So I start lining up some better targets. The Sims is about to leave my range, not able to get any shots on him. So I'm just going to have to bump up my speed soon here and start trying to get back within range of a lot of these ships. I do take some shots at the Sims, but see on the we have some guys highlighting the fact that there's a destroyer that have managed to flank around all the way past our spawn. It's pretty sick play by that DD. I'm not sure what it is. I'll look in a moment to see what it is, but trying to see if I can get in range of this other New Mexico now. He is sailing away, so it's probably going to be a no. Murph Daddy's behind an island. He's also sailing away, so I'm not able to get many shots. Our New Orleans has decided to turn back to try and engage that destroyer, I believe. I guess that's a smart idea, considering that it could get nasty whenever he starts flanking on our battleships. So props to the New Orleans. So currently we have spotted those New Mexicos, the Otago and the Fubuki. But the Mahan is shooting at the Fubuki, but at that range it's going to be really difficult. It's pretty much down to that New Orleans to catch him. But I'm just starting to come into range of the New Mexico Murph Daddy. Just got under range of him. The other New Mexico is well left in range, and he's showing broadside to me. He's angling against my division mate, but he's not angling against me, and Bugiani just popped up, so my division mate's going to start firing on him very shortly here. And I catch like a glimpse of a torpedo that scared the shit out of me. That might have been the Sims, but I can't confirm that. It probably is the Sims, because their Farragut's dead, and the Fubuki is over on the other side. So it's definitely the Sims. Get some fire. Considering he was angled that much away, 2 pins, 1 over pin's not bad. I would like to have gotten better, and you see the Bugiani takes a giant hit because of my division mate actually slaps him pretty hard. Didn't kill him, and I paused what I was doing to look at note these torpedo bombers, and I immediately start turning towards them because I don't want to get torpedoed at all. Since this is the stock hull, the rudder shift is pretty bad, and the AA is even worse. But fortunately for me, he decides to go after North Carolina, which is a smart idea. The North Carolina is the top tier battleship, and he eats 3 of them, which that's gonna hurt. Looking around, no targets. I have no targets spotted at this moment. I decided to turn back around, try and get back in range of that New Mexico, and do more damage to him. My division mate has closed the distance to me, so we're gonna push in hard with this North Carolina and see what damage we can do. And you see the New Mexico. Oh, New Mexico has gotten out of range, but the enemy North Carolina has appeared. That's a big threat to a tier 6 battleship. But I line up a shot and I see what I can do. We got 2 New Mexicos on 1 North Carolina. We've got a little bit of a firepower advantage, and we have a toughness advantage for sure. The New Mexicos are the most well armored of the American battleships in terms of citadel, anyway. When they're angled, it's very, very difficult to pull off those kinds of shots. But the North Carolina has 16-inch guns, and pretty good ones at that, so it's able to pin through the bow, not getting citadel hits, but getting penetrating shots, and he's starting to lay down some real fire on my division mate, and he's angling towards me-ish, so I try and fire. These are really bad shots. I'm actually pretty embarrassed of those shots. Those were awful. They fall short, nothing hits. Pretty trash. But he is continuing to close the distance with me, which is a bad idea. The best thing he has on us is accurate guns and long distance. He's also faster. The fact that he's closing the distance with us is just a very, very bad idea. The New Mexicos are only dangerous to him at a close distance, and I'm trying to get clear of this island so I can turn my broadside on him. And yet again, I lead short with these shots, and they just do bad. One ricochet, nothing, no damage done. My division mate has better success. He's shooting at the flat broadside, and you see the Otago and the Benson have now joined the fray. As well as that, I can't tell how far away the Indianapolis is, but he might be firing. But the North Carolina has started going broadside directly to me, and I've gotten clear of the island so I can go broadside to him as well. And my first shot was a citadel. I'm ready to punish him. His guns aren't trained on me, so I just tried lining up my shots and start trying to do as much damage as I can. That was a pretty bad second shot, or second volley, but I'm angled pretty strongly, and I try and bring my guns to bear since he's got to turn his guns first. So I line up my shots again, right at the water line, leading them properly, and I just wait for my guns to load. I'm not going to flinch away. I'm just going to sit here and wait for this to happen. And my division mate dies, unfortunately. The Indianapolis must have gotten him with a fire. But by the time this North Carolina has showed any kind of awareness to the fact that there were 2 New Mexicos, he had already been killed. I had gotten 3 citadels on him. Or 2 citadels, I believe, actually. Yeah, I'd gotten 2 citadels on him and penetrating shots right into his broadside. He had no recourse for that. He did fire on me, but I was angled and he was not. And that's see, the New Mexico is such a good ship because it's so tough that even if you are up-tiered, 16-inch shells are not guaranteed to penetrate you. Like, your citadel is so strong that penetrating through your bow is easy, but penetrating the citadel from the bow is actually pretty difficult. And you see me foolishly taking some shots from the enemy New Mexico. The Indianapolis is coming through this that hill, but he's behind that landmass, so I can't really shoot at him. I'm deciding to turn away to angle, away from the enemy, so I can get some distance between me and these New Mexicos, because only one of them is sailing towards me, so I can just decide to engage just one of them. And I'm waiting for him to try and turn broadside. He doesn't actually do it, so I have to shoot at him when he's angled. Not as great as I would like. Look at the damage I do. It's good damage, but he's angled, so it's guaranteeing some of them are gonna bounce. And I decide that, well, I could just circle around this island and well, you see that there's only 3 ships on the Allied team now. That's really, really bad. I'm pretty much alone. But I've decided to engage the do as much damage before the game ends mode, which means to survive as much as possible and just do as much as damage as I can, regardless of who wins or loses, right? So I'm angled slightly, and I fire again on the enemy New Mexico. Do some decent damage. His shots do poorly because of my speed manipulation. They're going far ahead of me instead of hitting me flush because, well, the enemy the Murph Daddy has found my range and is in fact going to hit me, I believe. His fell a little short, but he did penetrate me a few times with his big old 14-inch guns, and I'm trying to decide how should I continue to go away, and I decide against it. Instead, I decide to sail towards them and just do as much damage as I possibly can to get the most out of this game, because I've had a pretty good game so far. The North Carolina basically served himself up on a silver platter for me. He got into brawl range with 2 battleships, and while the North Carolina is better than the New Mexico in a one-on-one, I would say, pretty much all the time, he was not playing to his strengths at all. He's a good brawling ship, but absolutely not against 2 battleships, even if they are 2 tiers lower. And I'm trying to pick a target here. Neither of them are presenting much for me, so I end up just taking some shots at Murph Daddy, I believe. So it sucks that the game, we've lost so many points and we're down so much, and we ended up losing to my hand that was over here with us. Which sucks, but that leaves me as the only target over here because our ally is all the way on our spawn. I'm not sure what oh, that's the New Orleans that was at the start of the game. I have no idea where he was most of the time, but Vic Savage shows a broadside to me, so I take aim and I shoot 6 guns at him, see what I could do. Still angled towards both of them. See what I can manage. Did some damage. Not too much, but with 6 guns, what can I expect? Taking some fire from, I don't know, possibly the Indianapolis. I'm pretty sure it's the Indianapolis. But not able to really pull anything off there. And I see the torpedoes are coming, but I'm pretty helpless to stop them at this point. So I'm just trying to focus on getting as much damage as I can before the game ends. And the torpedoes actually aren't as successful as I thought they would be. But the New Mexico is gonna take advantage of me being broadside like this, and oh, that's a big hit. I'm not dead, however. I tried to turn my guns a second time just to try and get some other last-minute damage, but I die just as it hits 0 seconds. I do end up with 110,000 damage, 64 hits, 5 citadels, 1 incapacitation, 1 destroy, 5 secondary hits, 2,700 experience gained, and 186,000 credits earned. It was a defeat, but it was a good battle regardless. I felt like I really demonstrated how you're supposed to play this New Mexico, especially when up-tiered. Showing broadside is never a good idea, but you have to understand that the New Mexico is so tough compared to other ships of even tiers 2 higher than it, like the North Carolina. While it is a great ship and it is especially good even at tier 8, and when it's top tier it's an absolute monster, the New Mexico can punch above its weight. It does have 14-inch guns compared to the North Carolina 16, but it is so durable, and using your repair party consumable a lot is, you'll take several times over your health damage, especially if you angle properly. Citadeling in New Mexico was damn near impossible, and you'd be crazy if you showed your broadside to one and got into brawling range in the first place, and then decided that you were going to go broadside to it after that. It's a suicide mission to do so. But if you want to see more of this, and I do have another game that will be up in a day or so, also in the New Mexico, where I yet again demonstrate how effective this ship can be and how hard it is to bring this bitch to the bottom. That'll be coming in a day or so. But if you like this, and if you like the New Mexico, if you like the video, then feel free to do that. Just go ahead and hit the like button. If you want to see more, I'm putting out videos again now, so you can subscribe if you like. If not, come by if you like. Just viewing the content is enough satisfaction for me. Until then, till the next time, I'm DylanTheVillyn. I'll catch you down the road.